Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, July 2nd, and this is Nadex Morning Analysis. I am Todd Rich with Nadex. With me, Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple, as well as Dan Cook from Nadex. Before we get into the hot spots in the markets, there is some volatility going on. We told you about it yesterday, and it's already happened, so hopefully you were hopefully looking at the markets when the jobs numbers came out. But before we jump into any of that, I need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone. That any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. And this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian, Dan, or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your education purposes. And just a reminder, we are not going to be doing these next week. We are going to be taking some time down for the Independence Day holiday. In fact, I've got my handy little American flag mug. I think, Dan, you've got your coffee mug. Hey, look at that.
Cheers,
yeah,
Doug.
Brian, you're not in the club today.
No, I'm on a no coffee week. It's just tea, guys. It's just tea.
In fact, I got this one. I bought this one at the Smithsonian. It's the actual flag that hung at Fort Henry when Francis Scott Key wrote the lyrics to the national anthem. And then Brian was very kind to tell me that this was not a good day, even though he wrote this in Fort Henry in Baltimore. That's because they...
Not a great day. As a resident of Maryland, I know the truth. Annapolis, where our Naval Academy is, they decided that they didn't want Annapolis burned. We fought for about 15 seconds as we paddled out, surrendered, and said Baltimore's that way. That's kind of how the day went. So yeah, Annapolis was like, we don't want to be burned, but Baltimore's that way. If you want to go ahead.
I just find it ironic you're drinking tea.
Yeah, drinking tea.
Throw that in the ocean, would you?
Yeah. Yep. That's how it's working.
That's perfect. That is perfect. All right. So this is the story for the day. This is what everyone's going to be talking about. I'll drop a link for this into the chat in case you didn't know where to locate this. In fact, let me do this as I speak. We had our non-farm payroll numbers and our unemployment numbers come out. Now, the markets are currently reacting well to this. Our non-farm payrolls, they were forecasting 700,000 jobs, came in at 850,000 new jobs. However, our unemployment rate was previously 5.8%. They were expecting that to drop down to 5.6 instead. Actually, here the forecast was dropping to 5.7. It actually came in 0.1 of a percentage point higher. It came in at 5.9. So, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily good news, but the equity markets are currently taking it as such, as they all popped a little bit higher. We are also going to take a look at the currencies. In fact, I think we're going to start with what's going on. You can see that when we say there's opportunity in the market and there's volatility, this candle in the euro US dollar, this 15-minute candle, it blew through 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 14 binary option strikes. So was there trading opportunity in this past 15 minutes? You bet. That's that's quite a move in the euro US dollar. You can see it's actually starting to retrace now a little bit from a significant pop higher. With that, I'm going to turn it over, Brian. I'm going to flip it over to you, and let's talk a little bit about the US dollar and some of these currencies, and then we'll do a quick little review of some of the equities.
Yeah, and first thing I want to bring up too is, again, non-farm is probably the biggest news release that exists, both on the currency front as well as really on the indices front. So it's one of those things that if you ask 10 traders, 9.95 are going to say non-farm is the one news release that you need to watch out for. Now, with the ADP numbers on Wednesday, so today's numbers are quite surprising. Not so much the non-farm employment change, because pretty much everybody expected that one. The forecasts don't change that often, but the unemployment rate is going to be the big kind of, I would say, no man's land today, where we're not really sure what's going to happen. The media is going to talk about that. The employment, this is the employment situation is getting worse. Everybody expected this number to be higher, and if you look back on Wednesday, we saw the ADP non-farm employment change was about 140,000 above what forecast was. Well, today just happened to come in about 140,000 above where forecast was. So it's one of those things. That's not the surprising number. Unemployment rate is being higher. That is a little bit more surprising because, again, remember, employers are having a hard time hiring people. The reason why the employment numbers were so good is because all the perks and everything that are being offered to get people to start working. It's very odd that we're seeing an unemployment rate actually go higher. Now, some of that may also be people coming back into the workforce that are like, hey, I'm back looking for jobs and I don't have anything. But it's not because of lack of jobs being available. So really the big question today is going to be, how does the media take this? Is that all they're going to focus on? Are they going to talk about, the unemployment change numbers? So that's, I would say, is one of the biggest things. And we've seen a lot of movement very, very fast. But again, that's non-farm payroll. And I've told you guys a million times before, again, news releases, there's a couple things. Remember, the biggest movers are session opens, news, and then obviously sometimes closings as well, right? But non-farm is one of the big ones. It kind of coincides almost with two. Got to be cautious. So I was actually looking at oil over here as well, but I'll switch down to some of the currencies. So the euro dollar, we talked about it last week. This is actually, we've been talking about this for a while. We talked about 1806 was our kind of trigger point on this one. And it was very fast. We started at, 1820. We dropped all the way down, tagged that level, came all the way back up again, and went to a tested level up top. As Todd mentioned, it was a very, very fast movement, about 50 pips in less than 5 minutes. Very, very fast movement, very, very fast, very, very volatile. Why that's important to know is because, again, could it have easily turned down? Yeah. And this is why using the right kind of asset is very, very important. Particularly, again, Todd mentioned the binaries. Using those shorter duration binaries would have been extremely key at this point because the strike differential is very, very small. So it's very, very easy to kind of overcome those. Right now, I would probably see a bit more stabilization. You may say, well, wait a second, why is the dollar weak here? The dollar is weak because the green number was expected, which should have been positive for the dollar, but this is a big change, and it's a 0.3% difference. Yes, it's only 0.1 higher, but everybody expected it to be 0.2 lower, so the market needs to adjust. Seeing the unemployment situation being in the red like this, that's not going to stimulate the Fed to say, hey, we need to raise interest rates. We're, the recovery's here. So overall today, I would say that's probably a trend we have to wait and see kind of how the rest of the day unfolds. The retail trader has not gotten an opportunity to react to it yet. Overseas obviously has, but I would expect continued dollar weakness today. And here's what the dollar index looks like. You can see it's a very, very fast spike down. But again, this is all that institutional money readjusting. This is not even the retail trader yet. And it was quite a large spike from 92.75 all the way down to 92.40. So, euro dollar, I would say right now we probably have a bit of a stabilization, but I do see it going higher. It's going to have some issues around the 1850 level, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get up into the 1880 level later today. And again, dollar Swiss do you want to show anything on this one, Todd, or you want me to switch to dollar
I'm actually just kind of watching it move around. It's really kind of amazing how volatile this is. Yeah. And we're getting some, what do you call, and I'm blanking on the word you use when the candles have very long wicks. What do you call it?
Oh, yeah, they're hairy. Yeah.
They're hairy. Yeah. Right, and so I am really, in fact, let me jump in here. I'm trying to make this as big as
I just called it like that because those caterpillars that have like all the spikes that come off of them. That's
all right. I thought it was actually an official industry term.
No, not yet. I'm working on that.
Well, I think the Harry Potter trade is.
Yeah, now Harry Potter is because it's funny. I found it on YouTube by somebody else saying, "Check out this strategy." I'm like, wow. You're even using my words. It's so
Harry
funny.
Potter. Yeah, we got to be careful before J.K. Rowling comes after us.
I know, right?
I just do want to point out we're giving you volatile spots in the market. We told you that the unemployment, that the jobless numbers were coming in, and look at this candle at the 8:30. It's hairy. It's got some very long wicks. It was a green candle. Look at this the candle right next to it. It was it almost retraced most of the move, and it has since come back. I'm wondering what's going to happen here if this thing's going to turn green. But you can see very long wicks, very thin markets. A lot of people already out on the holiday, and so you might see things move a little bit more with some more volatility, some randomness. As people are stepping away for the holiday, getting prepared for the Independence Day holiday weekend, and you might see a little bit more of this, and it does create trading opportunity when you start whipping through multiple binary option strikes. So
Yeah,
it's
and a
just
lot,
something to
and
keep
remember,
looking
you're seeing a pullback now because of profit taking. Everybody knows this is not a very long duration event. It's not something that is, it doesn't really fundamentally change everything. It's a very fast strike. So the people that have made their money very, very fast, particularly the people that didn't necessarily have a plan before going in, they're like, it's going to move. I'm going to go long. And they're like, holy crap, I made a lot of money. Bam. They're hitting the opposite now. They're trying to
right
close
now.
it in
They're
the other
just getting
direction.
out. And
Mhm.
and it's just, and you can see it. I mean, we're watching it. It is bouncing around. So
Mhm.
taking a look, shorter duration binary options in with the currencies with the dollar, you're going to be seeing this all over the place. This is the euro, US dollar. I know, Brian, you wanted to bring up the Swiss because it finally broke through the channel.
Mhm. Yep. Oh, hold on. I got. I was like, oh wait, where is it? Oh, I got to hit the refresh
Oh,
button.
you have it
Um,
up there because I put it in front of everyone.
Yeah, no. So here's the Swiss from yesterday, and again, this is kind of a learning point as well. I mean, the trade's already happened at this point, but remember we talked about the channel, about how it's been channeling forever, and people are going to be trying to play the break of the channel, and we debated. We arguably had it yesterday where it kind of pierced a little bit depending on how you drew the channel, and maybe today. But at the end of the day, I mentioned for me, I'm still looking at my same levels. I don't do anything different, but I do know where people are trading these. And again, if you had gotten short, guess what? You got stopped out. And what did it do eventually? It came up and it tagged the exact level we talked about at 92.73, and then is pushed away. And it's funny how this works. If you guys look to see what time it actually hit the level, I'm going to move this out of the way, right, so you guys can see it. If you go back and look to see what time this hit, guess what time this is?
Oh, look at that!
Right there. Guess what that is? That is the open of the European session. So it's one of those things. You don't need to spend all day here. You have to know when the hot spots are. European session, tagged our level, and it's like, channel? What channel? And just continue to drive all the way through. And it's amazing that somehow the European market knew exactly where this was going to go today, because they were shorting it from this upper level, and then they continue to follow it all the way back down into this 92.20-ish range. Yeah, 92.23 range. So it's one of those things, guys. It doesn't matter what strategy you use, and make sure you have rules you follow it all the time. Me personally, again, I like having, again, for lack of a better word, proof. The level was drawn off where we saw previous sellers step into the market. I would say I would expect this one to continue to go lower today. Do you want to get into it now? Probably not. The European market is going to kind of dry up in the next 2 hours. So I would say I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down into this 92 area. There will be some profit taking as well, but we talked about how there was no real clean levels in here for a buying opportunity. So the way at this point, if you were not in from the short up top, if you haven't taken your profit out, and again, this green was the 1 to 3 on that one. It ended up going, where are we at now? We're at a 1 to 5. So again, risk to reward ratio, amazing setup. I would almost start looking at this one of how do we start playing this on Sunday. Again, Sunday is a holiday, but it's not a holiday in the rest of the world. I'll tell you right now, they don't celebrate the 4th of July in the UK. So again, that market will definitely be open. There will be some trading opportunity because they know that there will be less U.S. traders on Sunday night in the market because it is a holiday.
Now, this is actually, I want to interject in here. It is really important. Yes, it is a holiday. However, Nadex, we understand the foreign exchange markets don't close. We will be open. Nadex is open with our FX products. We will open Sunday night. It will be the abbreviated session on Monday. And you can look at in fact, in the platform, we even tell you for the Independence Day holiday what the hours are. In fact, let me bring that up. I should be showing you
that. Is that
that.
because IG is a UK company? Is that why?
Well, Nadex is a U.S. company, and we've actually been doing that this year. We realized that there are holidays where even though they're not celebrated, like for instance, Washington's birthday. We were open for Washington's birthday with the FX products again. It's a holiday. We're celebrating it, but there are people who want access to the markets. And the FX markets are open, so we didn't want to, so we've been trying this out, and we've actually been finding a lot of traders still want to participate even on those holidays. At least they want to have access to it.
I'm pretty sure in the UK they don't like that guy either.
Yeah, it really is. You got to love it when a UK company buys a US company.
It's always UK.
Have to get along.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all just gonna have to get along.
When is Fish and Chips Day? I'm in for that one. Let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for football day, soccer day.
Yeah, and if you want to switch it back, Todd, too, I want to highlight something that we talked about from yesterday. Also, we talked about this the euro yen. We had such huge movement from what we heard, from the ECB president yesterday, talking about recovery and being protected. The yellow circle is where we were, and again, we talked about a breaking of that level. We talked about the parabolic retracement move, and if you wanted to be aggressive, just take it or waiting for the pullback. We ended up getting the pullback, and it was actually like late last night, so you could have waited for the new binaries, new call spreads to print before taking this one short. It actually came down and based right on the level we talked about before. Again, where we saw this price action occur previously. But I just want to point out, even though this is the euro yen, you say, what the heck does that have to do with U.S. numbers? You can see that the one, and I'll make it big for you guys can see it. Look at the volatility sitting inside of that one candle. All right, you guys can see that this is one candle. It's a 30-minute candle because that's what's on my chart. It's 31 pips, and again, we were basically flatlined in that level. One of the things, again, I want to make sure that we stress to everybody out there is, again, make sure you guys have targets where you're looking to take your positions off. It's very, very easy to say, I'm just going to go short, or I'm going to go long, and I'll just hold it till expiration. But you got to be cautious about news, right? News is one of those things that can move the market in crazy amounts of price action in such a short period of time. There's nothing worse than you being positive in something and all of a sudden have it all go back against you because you held it through a news release. So remember, you need to make sure that you trade your plan. Our plan from yesterday was to get short, get out at the 1 to 3. We were looking to make sure we took profit for this. But again, a secondary stop would have been, hey, listen, non-farm payroll's coming in. And it's great to say, oh my God, look, it went through. I'm going for my next target down here because that's what Brian said. Lovely. But non-farm payroll is something that can absolutely, without a doubt, mirror everything inside of the markets with a huge miss, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So you want to make sure that you capture your profits. And some people don't believe in this. Some people are like, nah, I'm just going to trail it. I'm going to let it go. And then what happens is they lose all their profits because they're not trading their plan. So that's just something that's my soapbox. So.
There's a saying. It's called, nobody ever went broke ringing the cash register.
Yeah,
so
I will disagree. When you get to a 1-to-1 and you get so happy that you made a little bit of money, you take that.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll go broke. But that's why I use a 1 to 3 as a minimum.
Yeah. Or then, 1-to-1. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say watch indices today. We talked about this being the next level.
Yeah, if you could just run through those because I know we're running out of time
real
here.
Quick. I want to get people out of here. Yeah, we talked about how 43.
We are in the green. I mean, the
43.25 is the next area we mentioned yesterday of being the next kind of target. Well, guess what? It just tagged 43. It's actually probably a little bit above. I'm a little bit delayed. We actually touched it and came back again. ES is up. NQ kind of the same thing. We talked about 14,650 is going to be the next one. You can see it came back up at that 14,600. It based there. The news came out. Boom, exploded higher. Again, I would look for that to go a bit higher as well. And then you can see we had this kind of trade, and we didn't really get a great entry, unfortunately. It kind of peaked its head, and again, that kind of ruins the setup for there. But I still think we're coming up to 34,650 today. I think we'll touch it. Do we go positive all day today? I don't think so. I would assume that there'll be some profit taking once the retail trader gets in and wants to jump aboard those numbers. I think they have to talk about the more people that are basically filing for unemployment in there. So I do think. We do have an opportunity for a short today, but again, we got to make it through the open first. And I do think some of these higher targets do get touched today. And when they do get touched, again, I think more people will say, hey, listen, we got to go long here. And those are the people that will lose money. So I do think there's a short opportunity. Is it going to be a big red? No, not so much. And then again, all the Reddit trades today are all sitting there in the red. All the Bitcoins, all the Ethereums, all the AMCs, GMEs, Dogecoins, all those are in the red. So it is a day where money is flowing back into the indices, even though it's holiday weekend.
Yep. All right. With that, any questions for Nadex, please email us, customerservice@nadex.com. Any questions for Brian? He is also quite accessible. You can reach him at support@keeptradingsimple.com. I want to remind everyone that we will not be doing these next week. We are off for a week for the Independence Day holiday and taking just a little bit of time down, but we will be back the week of the July 12th. We will absolutely be picking these back up. I'd love having you guys join us. Just want to remind you of that. The week of the 12th, the live streams are already set up in YouTube, so you can go into YouTube, and if you're subscribed to the channel, and you can set reminders to remind yourself, we'll be back in a week. Just to quickly recap, we had our
Hold on one sec, Todd. Real quick, guys, too. Don't forget, OPEC did not come to an agreement yesterday for oil. They are meeting today. There could be a news release on that one at any point today. Again, the 400 yesterday that sent oil going straight up in the air. It got kind of blocked by the United Arab Emirates. If it goes back to the 500, all those crazy gains we saw yesterday in oil could be eaten up all today in one quick foul swoop if they come out and say, nope, it's going to be 500. So just watch it. Sorry, I didn't want to take too much time.
Perfect. So we actually gave you, we knew this was going to happen, though, by the way, that today was going to be the busiest day of the week. And it was also going to be the day where there's probably going to be the fewest eyeballs because people cutting out for the holiday early. So you will see some volatile moves today, but that means there's going to be trading opportunity. If you're in there and you're keeping an eye on it, oil is something to be looking at. Clearly, the products with the U.S. dollar. We went through those currencies, and you keep an eye on those indices. Someplace else just to be looking, but the dollar really is where you're going to be looking at it. That is the recap. I want everyone to have a wonderful holiday weekend. Stay safe, enjoy, and good luck in the markets. We will catch you again the week of the 12th. Thanks, everyone.